All right. Hi. Welcome to Monday Mavericks. Yes. I'm just telling you, I always get it messed up because I'm always like Maverick Monday because of the song, Just Another Manic Monday. Anyway, welcome to Monday Mavericks. Yay! I'm so excited to be here. My name is Chrissy Hodges. I am the founder and executive director of OCD Gamechangers, who is the founder and series creator of this. I'm the author of Pure OCD, The Invisible Side of Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. I do peer support and referral consultations around the world. And lastly, drum roll, I just started a new business called OCD Peers. And myself and Neil Hemmer and my business partner, Melissa Hunter, who also treats OCD, we will be running OCD peer support groups 6 days a week starting next week. And community nights. Yay! It's like huddle care, but it's like peer oriented. Don't worry, I did not steal Maggie's format. She knows all about it.
That's awesome.
By the way, I ripped Maggie off. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, that starts next week. Yay! I'm excited and nervous, and that's probably why I'm sweating. So with that said, let's move on. I have the Not Alone Notes girls, women with me. So excited. We got to know each other at OCD Gamechangers this year, which is the last time anyone was ever together and able to hug. So thank you for being on here today. And I'm so excited to catch up with all of the awesome shit y'all are doing. So take it away, Molly. Give us an intro.
Hello, I'm Molly. I am one half of Not Alone Notes of the co-founders. That didn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. So, but I can also do what Chrissy does now, and I say I am the co-author of the book, Color Your Fears. Now official. And so, yeah, I'm going to pass it over to Morgan. I don't know which way to point.
Everybody hold up your books at the same time. Yay! You've just witnessed it, folks. Color Your Fears in 3 different states at once. Morgan, who are you? Tell us about you.
I am the other half of the co-founders of Not Alone Notes, and I also write a blog called My OCD Voice, and I like to write about mental health. And this is Jade. You might see her. She's my cat. Has separation anxiety.
We knew that Jade was going to show up to this as well.
Yeah, she's just hanging out in my lap.
So, okay, ladies, give us some background on if some people who are here might not know what Not Alone Notes is. So if y'all want to fill us in on what the project is and how it began.
Yeah, so 2.5, almost 3 years ago. Has it really been that long? Wow. So I had my blog, and I love snail mail. Everyone knows I'm like obsessed with post offices and like the USPS trucks. I get so excited whenever I see them.
Go on.
I just love snail mail. I always have as a little kid. So I wanted a way to connect with people who have OCD and maybe don't know anyone else or have never met someone in person, and just a way to connect with them. So I thought of writing them a letter. And so I just kind of put a Google form up on my blog to see what would happen. And people started requesting letters. And so I just sat in my dorm room and was writing them. And then Molly offered to get involved and made it 10 times better.
I saw like people blogging about their lives with OCD, and I followed Morgan on Twitter I wonder how many years I followed you before I ever talked to you, because I just liked her stuff. I was just a fan. I just liked her stuff. And then I saw that she came out with this project, and within like the week I contacted her and said, hey, can I make the cards? And it took off from there. And I also like have a marketing background, so I helped get the word out.
You know, what I love about your project and initiative, whatever we call it, what I love about it is this, and it's interesting because I just posted this on Instagram today. When you have OCD, you feel, first of all, you feel so alone. And second of all, you feel so removed from who you are. And I think a lot of that is perpetuated with the fact that most of us keep all this in our head and we don't want other people to know that we're suffering. So my post today was, a lot of people say they just stare in the mirror sometimes and look at themselves when they're in the midst of symptoms and go, I don't even know who that person is. And that's such a scary, scary feeling. And when I think about your project, I think about what it would be like to be in that space, that headspace, and that state of mind, and then walk to the mailbox and all of a sudden see you're not alone. And I'm way over here in New York, and I can tell you that you're important and you're valued and you're okay. How life-changing is that?
And like, I never talked about, even just like starting the project, I never talked about OCD to anyone. And like, I was in college or just graduated college when I contacted Morgan. So like from college to like from 6th grade to college, I never told anyone about it except for like when I had to tell someone, meaning that it was like interfering with my life enough that I needed to tell someone. And so like getting involved that way also made like us feel not alone. And then now we have a team of writers. And so like we learned that giving back like really helps other people as well. So we have a whole little team of family that we like will share like ERPs of the day or share when we're like going through something, and it's good.
Right? Yeah, it's nice to give like it helps me to write the notes and manage the project with Molly, but it helps them to write the notes as well in the same way receiving a note. So it goes both ways.
So I'm going to piggyback off of that. I in doing what I do and then doing peer support, I really, really often get people asking, what can I do to give back? And I really want to get into advocacy. And then there's that, I'm going to do it. And then there's the fear of, oh no, I don't want to do it because I'm scared. But all of us have experienced. You think that you want to do it, and then the prospect of actually putting yourself out there on the line and people hearing your story is really scary. But as we know, doing advocacy, taking the risk, living with the uncertainty is such a payoff to our own recovery. So tell us a little bit about how doing Not Alone notes has helped you both in your own recovery.
For me, it really stems from the writing aspect of it. Molly's more the artist, I'm more the writer. So having my blog is really cool because it's like a public diary where I can track my progress and recovery, and then getting to use my writing to like directly help other people. I don't know, it gives me a sense of purpose, which is really, it's so simple, but it's like, there's just something so special about going to the mailbox and there's a stickered covered letter. I just love mail.
Like, I love mail trucks too. It's like, wait, I'm obsessed with the USPS.
Morgan
has a new obsession. It's USPS.
No, it's not that kind of obsession. It's just an affinity for.
It's a hobby.
What about you, Molly? How has it helped your recovery?
I think just getting in, like, so before even Not Alone Notes, I never been to a conference. I never met people with OCD, like even in my town or even at college. I didn't, even though I was part of Active Minds and had been to support groups at my college with people with anxiety, no one ever had said like that they have OCD. So I didn't know anyone ever. And so then getting involved with Morgan, like allowed me to meet more people. And I have a funny story that when I went to, so it helped me meet more people. And then also like connecting to recovery, I was like afraid to go to McLean or like an intensive program. I went to a partial hospitalization program at McLean in Boston. And I would never have thought of doing that if I hadn't met or talked to someone who has also been through it and been through a program. So I had like a few friends that Morgan connected me with that like allowed me to gain the confidence and almost just like more certainty, like more knowing of what it's like. And when my first day at the program, my therapist made me go eat lunch with people because even though I was partial, she made me go eat lunch with like the residential people, and I was just gonna go like hide somewhere on the first day and eat lunch alone. And so, because it's scary. And so I walked into like the cafeteria and like sat at a side table, and they were doing something, so I had to move to the really big table. And this girl was like, "Are you from Not Alone Notes?"
Oh, that's
And I
so
was like, oh yeah, that's me. I was like mortified, but also like excited. And then so everyone else was like, wait, how do you know her? So that's just a little funny story, but it like wraps into able to have like meeting people to get the confidence to go get treatment that I really need. So it's a combination of community and treatment and help me all around. But it is really scary getting started. Sorry.
Sorry.
It is scary getting started, and like even as like I'm a teacher, so like anyone can Google me and find out that I have OCD and that I talk about it, and yeah, so it's just like being vulnerable, but it kind of helps you connect with other people. So like people that don't have OCD as well. So by like sharing your story. So yeah.
I think what I was gonna say is with me is even if you can't actually meet people like in person, or especially right now, like knowing we've sent 1,200 notes, like that is 1,200 people who are out there, which just like proves that like you could be walking down the street and you could pass someone with OCD and you would never know it, but now maybe you would feel a little more comfortable sharing with a friend and maybe finding someone, and just the more you open up, you can find more people. It's amazing whenever you share how many people say me too.
I have a ghost. The door just opened behind me.
I think this is an important point, and I know this is a little off topic, but I also think it's good for people to hear. It's, you know, we're always told, you know, stay off Google and you don't want to look for reassurance and you don't want to do this. But I do think that the power of the lived experience, the power of saying to someone, me too, I get it. I mean, I see that in peer support, and I think sometimes in the community people say, well, I don't understand the value of peer support. All it is really, you know, paid reassurance. But that's not true. Like, A, I'm trained. Don't give reassurance. But B, it's more walking the OCD path is lonely. It's scary. And when you have intrusive thoughts on top of that are terrifying, walking alongside someone else is so much easier and so much more motivating, which I think is what you were both saying. It gives you more hope. And so understanding that in advocacy and writing encouraging letters or doing peer support or whatever projects we're doing, it's not reassurance. It's saying to somebody, you need to know you're not alone. You need to know that this is a thing. And that is such a motivating hope factor that really helps people choose to go get treatment.
I want to mention something else that
No, I was thinking of the word hope. Go ahead.
I was going to mention that like I think another way to get involved is joining a support group, even though it's not advocacy necessarily. It's like you need multiple people in a support group. So if you get like a group of people together, like even if you're that one person, I think it's important to like you need multiple people for a support group, but I'm saying like one run by a therapist, not like your own support group.
Or like, someone in OCD peers.
Yes. But I'm saying that it's like a way to find your little community as well. You don't have to just like start an advocacy program, meet people online that are strangers. You can do it through your local support group right now. If there's online or Chrissy's.
Yes.
Yeah. So I wanted
Neil, who just posted yeehaw and hello friendos. Neil is part of OCD peers as well. And hello to everybody who's here. Look at it. It's like it's your fans. All of them. I recognize them. Hi. No, I agree. It's so interesting because with OCD we always have to think what's the boundary with reassurance, right? But we also need people. We need to know, you know, like even at Gamechangers when we were all together, being able to talk to other people. I've had this experience. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. It just gives you that motivation to know at the end of the day, I can go to sleep knowing that people don't think I'm a freak because I have intrusive thoughts, right? When I did not know that for so long. And that is a terrible, lonely life to lead.
Yeah. Knowing people have the same brain. And that's so, like, I don't want to say reassuring, but it's so comforting to me.
Validating.
Assuring. not reassuring.
Validating.
Assuring. Yes, validating.
Validation movement.
Yeah.
We should make that a thing.
What?
Validation movement. Hashtag validation movement.
I'll write it down with you can't live.
This is the peace sign, but like we should make it so it's like
validation movement.
Yeah. I'm trying to create a what is it called? Like a
hashtag?
No, like a
gang sign? A gang sign?
Like one that we all like. Never mind.
No, it's okay.
I didn't want it to be peace sign because we have like I wanted something different that wasn't. Okay, never mind. If you think of one, let me know.
Hold on, I'm gonna do it for us. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Wow. Nice.
How do you do spelling errors? I always wonder that.
Well, I had to. That's why it took me so long.
It didn't take that long.
Okay, so we're at 420. Oh, 420! Yay, weed. Anyway, so want to make
You're in Colorado, clearly.
I want to make sure that we get into really what we want to talk about. I mean, this has been great conversation, though. I think it's really appreciative. I get that question all the time. It's important to understand we need validation, we need assurance, and whether that does not cross over into supporting people's compulsion. So, thank you for that conversation. With that, let's get into your book. Yay! Okay, so backstory. I mean, I only have a backstory to March. When Morgan and Molly came out to OCD Gamechangers, we were in the mastermind and they were like, well, we have this book and it's going to be published. And now it's published. So I just feel so excited that we knew before it was even done and ready to go. So tell us about this amazing freaking book.
Okay, the idea started from OCD Illustrated on Instagram. Go follow her. She's her name's in the book because we gave her credit for giving us the idea. She posted like a year and a half ago a picture of a graveyard of like a coloring book graveyard that she went onto Google and searched for. And I thought that was such a good idea because I always wanted to make a coloring book. I'm an artist and I always thought about making one that was like of like just kind of my designs that I make, but I didn't feel like there was a reasoning behind it. I just wanted to do it. But then when this idea popped into my head, I was like, let's make one just for OCD. And I went online and saw if there was any books that were similar to it. And at the time there wasn't. And of course there's probably some that were like OCD, like color this in your OCD, like for, OCD happiness or like not really OCD ones. They were like, this will make your OCD happy coloring book. And I'm like, well, that's not what I mean. So I talked to Morgan about it and she likes to write. So we thought of the idea of having it half blog posts or descriptions. I don't know if I call it blog posts. It's like a description of the page that I would draw.
So we can tell a story related to like how I've experienced that theme or Molly has experienced that. And then it kind of gives instructions. Like I just opened to the report card and it's like, you can draw yourself getting an F in math and then hang it above your desk. But there are like a million ways to do it. A friend of ours used this and she wrote like being a bad person, being a bad friend. So it's
like A plus being a bad friend, A plus,
right.
Like saying no. What was it? Like,
right.
Then F, because she wants to say yes to everything.
It doesn't have to be school. It can be whatever you want. You can use it in a million ways, which is why we left it kind of vague, but with creativity.
What I love about this is that it's because it's these photos with just the photo, just the pictures and they're blank, is you could easily take let's say you're working through your hierarchy or whatever, you're in therapy and you've been through therapy and you're relapsing and wow, I just need to do something. You could take a photo of the blank page and use that on your iPad or whatever to even up the ante, like when you're working up a hierarchy. That's what I love about it. is, or you could copy the pages out and be like, okay, this week I'm going to do this, and then next week I'm going to make it a little bit harder. So in a way, it's almost like a workbook as well.
Yeah, we call it a workbook because of the
because
of the extra.
Okay.
Because of the extra.
Sorry.
It's okay. Because
We're
of the
right
extra
there.
things that you can do with it. People have asked, they're like, oh, it's a workbook. Can you like write stuff in and fill stuff in? And like, not the way that you would normally think of a workbook, but a workbook in that you can adapt it into how you want to use it. You could, like for the driving one, if you're like afraid that you're going to run over someone, you can rip out that or take a picture of the page and like, or print out a picture and put it in your car. Like, I feel like that would make the ERP so much more intense having it with you while you're driving.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're right around 4:25. So I want one more question before we do final words. So tell us the future of Not Alone Notes. Now, I know this. I know that you've had exponential growth since you were here in March. So tell us about the growth you've had and then where you see yourself going in the future.
Morgan, want to take it away?
I can speak to the like paperwork side. So we're working on filing to be a 501c3. We have some lawyers who are helping us pro bono. We have our constitution written. We have our bylaws written. We are getting ready. Of course, the state was shut down, but we're back in action. So we're really excited to be able to do more things because we have so many ideas, and I think that will help us sort of have like a not more like official, but just we can do more with what we want to do.
Yeah, now that we have a whole team of people.
Yes, tell us about that.
So after Gamechangers, at Gamechangers, we were behind writing notes, and we had a mastermind session with Chrissy and others who are advocates.
We were really behind, like 3 months.
And we talked about the idea of adding people to the team, and they gave us good ideas of how to do that and the proper way to do it. And so we have added 14 or 15? 14.
Wow.
14 people onto the team. So we have our little family of writers. So we're able to throw around ideas with them, and they have so many ideas and so many great ideas. And so, I don't know. So
That's amazing. That's amazing. And
watch out. We're gonna
just before we go into, kind of final words, what a mastermind is, just so you know, and thank you for mentioning that. OCD Gamechangers, what makes it so special is that, we do want to create a network and elevate people who are doing projects like Not Alone Notes and, really doing creative and innovative work. And one of the ways that we do that is the event is amazing, but the weekend is the reason why people want to come. And that's because we do an all-day mastermind group. And a mastermind group is when like-minded individuals sit in a room together all day. And you might think, that seems miserable. But it goes by like that. And it is so inspirational. You get to hear people's projects, and you get to give your input. And then by hearing what other people can do, you feel it's the same. It's like you're not alone. Like, you feel empowered of, oh my gosh, because they're talking about this, I can do this with mine. And, I'm going to tell you something, Molly and Morgan, whenever Gamechangers comes around, I always, in the mastermind group, go, who's going to benefit the most from this? Because inevitably there's going to be someone that rises out that brings to the mastermind. The two of you and Not Alone Notes, I feel so honored and blessed and privileged that we were able to provide that moment, and to see the work that you've done since then. It's like, this is why Gamechangers does what they do. So I just really want to say, like, everything y'all have been coming out with, I'm like, oh my God, I wonder if that's because we were all together. And it just makes me so happy.
Well, thanks for inviting us, because we wouldn't be able to be where we were without you.
Yeah, the feedback we got on the coloring book was amazing.
We just left it on the table. People would look through it and check it out. And
yeah. Well, anyway, so just wanted to say that, and I hope that y'all know that. But final words, Morgan, let's start with you.
My final words are we have a few pages that we've colored in ourselves, just so we have some examples if you want to see them.
Show us.
So this is a clock. So you can use this for like a fear of numbers, anything with numbers. I used it for a fear of wasting time. So I don't know if it's backwards.
Oh, yeah.
But it says compulsions, homework, so that's how I used to spend all my time. And then the bottom, it says wasted time. So it's like, ooh, look how many hours you wasted. It's really scary.
Oh.
And then the other one is for sexual orientation OCD. It's the rainbow with a maybe. It's maybe.
There you go.
So those are my examples.
Excellent. Any advice or any words of wisdom for people who are looking to go into advocacy that are scared?
I would say just if you have an idea. Oh, here she goes. Okay.
Wouldn't it be funny if like you had a drawing about bestiality and then that happened? Sorry, I'm just.
Oh my god.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. If you have an idea, even if you start super, super small, just do it. Like that's so cliche, but just start with as small as you possibly can that is feasible and it'll grow and grow. Or you can start big. Starting big is fine too. But if you have to start small, just do it and it'll grow.
Thank you. Final words, Molly?
So I have a coloring page as well. Trigger warning. Emetophobia peeps. This is my fear, and it's not on Instagram yet. So what?
Oh,
there's chunks.
That's awful.
Look at the chunks.
Are those splatters of vomit up top, or are those green vomit clouds?
Oh, splatters.
Oh. Thank you for sharing that.
I'll just leave it there the whole time I'm talking, so you.
Anyway, any advice for
It's
people?
funny because it made me anxious, and I was the one that drew her. It made me anxious when doing it.
Well, then I guess that means it worked.
So my words of advice are sign up for a Not Alone note. No, but actually, because we're caught up now. So if you want to sign up, I'm reassuring you or validating you, saying that you are not wasting people's time. Like, this is for you. We do this because of you guys. So we want to send out cards. So the more Not Aloneness we're spreading, the merrier.
Yeah.
So my final words are: go check out www.notalonenotes.org. Sign up for a note. And on my comments about becoming an advocate, there's this. Look, the stage is humongous, and we all occupy this much of it. We need it to be this much. So come on board. Whatever you're doing, reach out to Gamechangers. Reach out to Not Alone Notes. Get some support. Start small. Start anonymous. Just start posting. Just do something, because people need to hear that they're not alone. They need to know that we're walking alongside them. It's not reassurance. It's validation.
Hashtag validation nation. Oh no! I said it wrong.
Damn it! You ruined
It's
the whole
because
thing.
Darcy in the chat. I'm blaming it on you. She wrote validation nation in the chat.
Thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure to hang out with y'all. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here. And yeah, I'm just so, not to sound condescending, but just like proud of everything that's happened since Gamechangers. Like as the executive director, it motivates me to keep doing what we're doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And all of you that watched today, thank you so much for being here. You are watching Monday Mavericks, and this is the series where we highlight people doing amazing stuff to help our OCD community. Next week, we will be back on Fireside Fridays, where we'll be tackling topics that are really important to our community that don't often get talked about. I'll have more information about that at our OCD Gamechangers page on Facebook, or you can find us at OCD Gamechangers on Instagram. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Validation Nation!